Very disappointed, obviously, the way it's panned out, but I think you have to take you take the draw and you move on. There's not much you can do about it when you get a decision like that. From me, in my opinion. But I think in the end, second half, again, you look to the bench. There's not too much other than Ødegaard coming on, Martinelli. We just needed a little bit more firepower off the bench, maybe.
Yeah, there is one big talking point in that game, and it was the way that Brighton came back into the contest via the penalty spot, and that's because of this coming together between William Saliba and João Pedro. Glenn.
Well, I obviously disagree with Ian because I think it is a penalty. I think it's effectively a challenge. Saliba is just slightly late. Effectively, if it's on the floor and you get first to the ball and you make contact with the player, it's a penalty, and therefore, for me, that is a clear and obvious penalty.
You know what? I watched Kulusevski and Anthony Gordon today, and I'm thinking they've not given that as a pen, but they can give this as a pen. Where's the consistency? It's pathetic. Kulusevski's nearly broken his nose. He's just gone to try and head the ball here. It's like I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what, because I saw that one. It's not a pen, but this is. Come on, man! It's ridiculous. We've got the worst in Europe in respects of the decisions they make. They're the worst I've seen, these lot.
Well, let's try and get some clarity, shall we? Former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher joins us now from the Match Centre. Always good to see you, Dermot.
Thank you.
So, let's have a look at that. What is your reading of that coming together, collision, headbutt, whatever way you want to put it?
I'm in Glenn's camp, actually, Manish. I think he's unlucky. He goes to head the ball, there's no doubt about it. But if you see, the ball gets moved on there, he goes to try and head the ball, but he catches him on the head. This is a great angle. See, there's the ball moved away, then he comes in, catches him. I think once you do that, it's a foul for me. If that happens in the halfway circle, the referee's going to give a foul. So I think a penalty. Tough call for the referee. He took his time, he run it through his head, and I don't mind that. But I think he's got it right.
Yeah, and I suppose the reason we're debating this is because we very rarely see something like that happen, don't we?
We were actually discussing it during the match, and I can't ever remember that happening before. It's such an unusual incident. But you look at it, and it's very, very difficult when you see it in a cold light of day like that to say it's not a foul.
What about Kulusevski?
Yeah, so let's have a look then what happened earlier in the day in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dejan Kulusevski here with Anthony Gordon, not with the head, but with the shoulder. Nothing was given here.
I think this is a penalty as well, Manish. I think it's a penalty anyhow, because I think of how he catches him. If you watch there, his shoulders up, he catches him in the face, he catches him in the nose. And you see here, he's nowhere near the ball.
How can they watch this? How can they watch that, Derm, and not give that as a pen? But they can watch this one with Saliba and give it as a pen. If they gave that as a pen, then I would take this one, no problem.
Yeah.
But I'm not just seeing.
And I think, Wrighty, that's why I'm sat here in front of the camera talking to you, isn't it? Because if they were both given as penalties, you go, fair enough. If they were both given not as penalties, say fair enough. But when you compare them, without doubt, in my opinion, the Kulusevski is the worst of the two. I think that should be a penalty. The second one's a referee's on-field call, so that's why that's given.
Yeah, the contact is there and clear to see, isn't it?
I feel Kulusevski makes his body a little bit bigger just at the end there to make sure he doesn't get past. And for me, they're both stonewall penalties.
I think the clue here as well, Glenn, is the ball. If you watch the ball, where the ball is in relation to the challenge, he's so late. For me, it's got to be a penalty.
Yeah. Another flashpoint in the game at the Amex, Dermot, was when the penalty was being prepared to be taken. Jorginho, amongst the whole group of players on the edge of the 18-yard box. You will see it, I suppose, in the second angle. You can just see a kick out there with his right leg on the Brighton player. Nothing was spotted or given at the time. Is there a punishment to be warranted here?
Well, I think you've got to go through the nuts and bolts of this. Firstly, priority for the officials on the field is the penalty, is the goalkeeper moving, all that. Nobody really looks outside the penalty area for that. It gets picked up by the VAR. And then he's hamstrung to a certain extent, because you look at that and you think, it's petulant. I don't think it's a red card, and I don't think anybody would expect a red card for that. So therefore, he's got all or nothing. He doesn't think it's a red card. He can't recommend a yellow card. He can't recommend a public admonishment. So his hands are tied, so effectively got away. But
So
what
VAR could only interfere if it was a straight red?
Absolutely.
But Derm, in the rules of the game, if you attempt to use or use excessive force against an opponent, and even if you don't make contact, then that's deemed to be a red card. Is that not the case there?
It's got to be deemed violent or an act of violence or brutality, Glenn. And hand on heart, I would never say that was a violent kick-out. I think it's petulant. I think it's very, very unwise. But I didn't expect him to see a red card.
So, Derm, suppose he does that. He can't see where Veltman is. Suppose he catches him on his knee there. Then what?
Well, I think...
Because he can't see where he is. It's not like like we saw the elbow the other day where he's just missed it.
Pedro, as it happened.
Yeah. So with that, he can't see him. So you're saying that if you know, it's petulant. If he catches his knee, then it's violent. He can't see if he's going to catch the knee or not.
Yeah, but you can only go on what happens, Wrighty. You know, you look at that.
It's the intention, though.
Yeah, but I still go back, that's petulant. I don't think it's violent, and I think we've got to be very careful we don't get wrapped up in what happened a week ago.
Derm, what about Pedro's one? That looks like it was petulant.
We can't get wrapped up in it. We all know, Wrighty, that a week ago, if a red card had come out there, nobody would be arguing with it. It was, you know, that was a sheer act of violence that went on unpunished.
Okay, Dermot, thanks very much indeed. It's only taken you 4 days of 2025 to get your tin hat on, but thanks very much indeed.
Look at Dermot, his cool blue shirt. Look at him.
Cheers, Dermot, as always. A former Premier League referee, Dermot Gallagher. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that does to appease your point of view.
Me
I know at the end of the day, you just want a level of consistency.
That's all it is.
As everybody else does.
See, I'll go with Glenn. Like Glenn says, like he'll give that as a stonewall penalties.
Yeah.
You know, if they gave Kulusevski's, then I would say, yeah, they've got to do it. I'm sorry, the inconsistency is not good enough. I'd go with the same with the Tottenham goal. No, I'm not. Even that one's confused me. I don't know what to believe in it. I don't know what to do.
Okay, I tell you, yeah. Well, while you try and figure out what to do, let's get some post-match reaction from Jean-Paul Van Hecke, who joins us at the Amex Stadium. These number of draws. I mean, if there are any frustrations amongst the Brighton fans, I suppose it is the fact, as you've mentioned, new manager, certainly fair few new players, still trying to adapt to his ways, right?
Yeah, also, and I think the manager is doing a brilliant job. He's a really good manager, top manager. So, but yeah, of course, everyone will say we spend a lot of money in the summer. But if you look to it, they all come from other leagues and they need to adapt to the Premier League. It's not easy to play all young guys. So a few players left, and I think it's around 700 games Premier League we lost, and yeah, we get 0 Premier League games back for it. So we need time, and I'm quite sure the club will be there in a few years.
Yeah, and a point against one of the title challenges is no mean feat. Well done today.
Thank you very much.